Alright, so listen up. The Blue Lock Chapter 333 leaks are finally here, and at this point it's becoming painfully clear that U20 France is the strongest team in the entire tournament. Hugo has already declared that losing is Blue Lock's fate, told Isagi to abandon becoming a striker, and framed everything as destiny that cannot be escaped. So the big question heading into this chapter is whether Blue Lock can actually rebel against that idea, or if Hugo's logic really does rule the field. If you enjoy staying up to date with Blue Lock and want to support the channel, make sure to subscribe and comment your thoughts as you watch. With all that out of the way, let's get right into it. We start off with some intro text which states, "At last they collide. The Battle of the 10 from Japan and France. Don't miss the single moment." Opening with a downward shot of the field, we see Itoshi Rin with possession of the ball, sprinting straight towards Julian Loki with France's goal box just feet behind him. As we saw in the last chapter, Isagi and Itoshi Rin seem pretty determined to prove that fate and destiny are merely chains that can be broken, so let's see exactly what they have planned for France here. Off of his very first movement, Itoshi Rin sends Loki to the shops with some very familiar footwork, nutmegging and running around him. Julian Loki, with his superhuman speed though, is able to immediately react as we see him turn and sprint in hot pursuit of Rin. By the time we get to page 4, Loki has only taken maybe 2 whole seconds to catch up to Itoshi Rin, as we now see him with an arm around Rin while still smiling wide. Glancing back with disgust, Rin pushes Loki off of him and shields the ball as the two clash face to face in a very similar panel to Isagi vs Rin in the PXG game. So far, against the New Gen 11 talents once again, Isagi and Rin are putting up a very good performance in my opinion. The moment the two separate, we see Itoshi Rin looking for an opening on the goal, and he seems to find one as he begins pulling back his leg into a shooting motion. Loki, of course, goes from a concerned face to locked in very quickly as we see him jolt forward and begin reaching out to stop Rin. Even with Julian Loki right on him, Itoshi Rin swings through with the shot and manages to get it beyond France's captain. However, there is one more New Gen member left on their team. Hugo appears and leaps through the air all nonchalant, blocking Rin's shot with his leg and sending it completely off course. I don't know why, if it's his design or just overall vibe, but Hugo is growing on me and probably going to be one of my favorite New Gens by the end of this match. And I'm also not going to lie to you, not only did Loki get fully bailed out here, I'm still wondering what France's actual defenders are doing. I mean, come on guys. What about Chappa? Page 8 then shows Rin's shot gliding far over France's net as the commentators and fans all scream in amazement over Hugo's super block and Rin's insane shot attempt. Isagi and Rin are both just standing there with super pissed off and surprised expressions because no matter what they do, Hugo is just on their ass. As we then get a classic Isagi monologue as he stares over at Hugo, we learn that this was all once again within France's logical plan. Julian Loki actually did exactly what he was supposed to do there, as his only job was to get in Itoshi Rin's way and restrict his shot course. Meanwhile, Hugo was always meant to come in from behind and block the shot. As he makes this realization, Isagi just cannot believe that even the way that they think has been understood and implemented into France's plans to stop them. We then get an amazing spread of France's entire team either smiling or looking locked in towards the camera, as Isagi says that with the right talent in the right place, 100% of a team's performance can be squeezed out and utilized. With a blacked out panel and looking scared for a moment, Isagi calls France the ultimate group of adaptability and asks the question that nobody wants to hear their number one ask. Can they truly win against France here? Hugo finally notices Isagi staring him down and decides to speak up. He straight up acknowledges that Blue Lock is strong, explaining that Japanese soccer's disciplined collective mindset mixed with Blue Lock's everyone aim to be number one philosophy did create a really dangerous hybrid team. He even gives Hugo his credit, saying the experiment worked, just not forever. According to Hugo, there is a ceiling to it. Hey, if this guy knows so much more than Ego Jinpachi, why don't we just give France's U20 Hugo Blue Lock and let him run the program? We're just gonna have a bunch of little Charles running around. Anyways, Hugo then breaks the game down into cold numbers. Most of a match, in his eyes, is decided by talent and environment, and then there's the smallest factor of them all, luck. He points out that Blue Lock has been surviving off that last tiny 1%, with Isagi repeatedly being the one who drags it out at the perfect moment. Every miracle play, like in the U20 game or the PXG vs BM game, every turning point, all traces back to Isagi capitalizing when the chance shows up. But Hugo says that France isn't going to allow that anymore. They're not leaving room for luck to even exist or that chance to ever show up. And the moment Isagi snaps back at him, Hugo calmly calls it out, saying that this reaction alone proves that he's right. Blue Lock leans way too heavily on Isagi. When things get tight, everything funnels back to him. Hugo starts circling Isagi as he explains the real problem. Japan's entire system right now is built on the assumption that Isagi will always keep thinking, always keep evolving, and always find the right answer. That means he's never allowed to slow down, never allowed to stall. If Isagi stops growing for even a moment, their whole structure collapses. And that pressure is exactly why his play has started to feel rushed and predictable. Isagi is sweating, visibly shaken, and Hugo then goes for the jugular. He tells Isagi the fact that he feels this kind of pressure and is burdened by it proves something uncomfortable. Someone who truly belongs at the very top wouldn't be crushed by the spotlight. They'd enjoy it. They'd thrive in this moment instead of fearing what comes next. Hugo then points over to Julian Loki, who's standing tall with that confident smile. Loki, in Hugo's eyes, is the perfect example of what a true number one looks like. Born with overwhelming physical gifts, fully confident in his future, and completely in sync with his own talent. A striker who never doubts his place at the top. That is the kind of number one Hugo explains that he wants to create, and we saw it when Loki interacted with the World 5 and talked down on them. We saw it in the new Egoist League with the way that he matched off against Noah and Kaiser, and we're going to see it now time and time again as, I hate to say it, but he's gonna put straight belt to ass to Japan, there's no doubt. Hugo then flips the script and talks about himself. He doesn't want to be number one. He wants to actually just be number two. Not second place though, but the position just beneath the peak. The role that sees everything, understands everything, and controls the entire system from a bird's eye view. That sounds very familiar. The person who understands the number one better than anyone else and stands beside them, not below them, but as their equal. Hugo reaches out to Isagi and offers him the same position. He tells him to accept being number two, because Blue Lock can still grow stronger if he does that. But if Isagi continues chasing the title of the world's best striker, of number one, Hugo believes that obsession will only tear the team apart. In his logic, Isagi isn't meant to lead from the front. He's meant to control everything from just behind it. The chapter ends with Rin struggling to contain Loki, Karasu and Isagi watching in shock, and Bachara lining up for a corner kick. Hugo delivers his final warning. If Isagi refuses to change and accept his offer, Blue Lock will fall apart right here. They will without a doubt lose against France. The outro text declares that this is a direct threat to Blue Lock Japan, questioning how they can possibly oppose someone who believes talent and fate decide everything. Next week, Blue Lock chapter 334 will come, titled The Time of Awakening, and we will just have to wait and see who changes. Whether that awakening belongs to Isagi, Blue Lock as a whole, or even France, Loki, and Hugo, I know I will at least enjoy the Kamsegi jokes for the week. The question is real and very prevalent in the community though, whether Isagi would truly be better suited as a midfielder or number two, or if that idea completely misses the point of who he is and his entire character. The way Hugo explained his philosophy honestly sounded a lot like the dynamic between Itoshi and Rin, where one stands at the top while the other understands and controls everything from just behind, or at least wants to. In a weird way, Isagi already kind of does that with Rin, reading him, syncing with him, and bringing out the best of his plays alongside himself, which makes the whole offer hit a lot harder. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Isagi will reject Hugo's offer outright, or will this force him to evolve into something completely new? And if he does reject his offer, do you think overall Isagi would be better suited as a midfielder, or he should just keep pursuing striker? I don't care what anybody says, Hugo or real life people, if I'm reading this super hype shonen battle manga, which is just basically that for football, I need Isagi to be out for blood. He cannot be anything but the number one striker. I don't care about Rin, I don't care about Baru. Hey, I love Kaiser, but I don't even care about Kaiser. Isagi better aim for that number one spot until the series ends. If you enjoyed today's leaked breakdown, make sure to subscribe to support the channel, comment down below, and I'll see you all next time.